demon in me was like, donuts. It was like Scooby, like,
donut? Oh, gosh. All right, so I wanted you to tell me a little bit about Shalamar, your relationship with them, and how you ended up becoming that girl that replaced that scenario with Jodie Watley in that iconic group.
First of all, let me just say, there was no bigger Shalamar fan than me. So, and I'm sure you're gonna have some pictures. I used to wear Shalamar pens. Everybody from school used to tease me because I had holes in all my clothes. So I used to wear Shalamar pens with everything. But so that that was not something that was in the cards for me in my mind. And to be fair, how it happened was, and it technically I replaced Delisa Davis because if you guys know, Shalamar actually evolved in different forms with different members and different people. I know the classic lineup is Jodie, Jeffrey, and Howard. But there were other, as it went on, of course, there were other members, of course, and everybody knows Mickey Free because of Shirts versus Blouses and Charlie Murphy and the whole Dave Chappelle thing.
Oh, my gosh.
Which Mickey Free lives here in Vegas, too.
That's right, he's here now.
Yep.
That's right, he moved because I went and saw one of his jam sessions. I met Mickey Free in a place called Cornville, Arizona.
Oh, wow.
Cornville is like a very little close to
when he had his horses.
Maybe he did.
Or was this after Shalamar or during Shalamar?
No, this was, I think, after Shalamar. He was in Cornville and down there by Albuquerque.
He had a ranch in Sedona.
Okay, so we had some family down there. And went on there and I met him for the first time. And I went into this jam session because I had my horn. I wanted to just play. And I'm in this little town, Cornville. I didn't know anybody knew me. So I went over there and they're jamming. When I got in there to the jam, I heard somebody say, "Skip!" I'm like, who knows me? Nobody knows me. This little Cornville. Skip! Mickey! It's Mickey. I'm like, dang, man. He's like, man, I do this thing with Shalamar. I was like, that's you. I said, I know you, man. What are you doing here at Cornville? He said, I listen to him so forth. And that was the first time we actually really met. I gave him some love, and he gave me some love. And now he's moved here to Las Vegas. I went to do a jam session he was doing here in Las Vegas. I didn't know you played the trumpet like that. Man, that's what taught me how to sing. He's like, well, we got to come down and do it again. So I want to make sure that the people know where we are here in Vegas. And then we're going to start making a little event where we have our celebrity friends come out and just have a Friends and Legends jam.
That would be beautiful.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Absolutely.
Because there's songs at this time of our lives, we're done with the fighting and the challenges and all. We've already got our roses.
We're savoring life.
Yes.
Life at this point in life, it's moments.
Yes.
Like as I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm thinking about all the people that I know. You've got Keith Washington that lives here.
Yeah.
You've got Peter Wise. I mean, he's one of the premier Black casting directors here.
Wow.
And he's just, you name it, he's done it. So we're even though we're spread out, we do need to congregate. We need to congregate. I would personally love to see.
We need to fellowship.
We need to fellowship. Yes. And we need, I'd like to create a board, a legacy board.
That would be really cool.
And I've been saying this for the longest because, and we'll get to Shalamar. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Anna Mitchell, Boo Mitchell, of Willie Mitchell,
right.
Family, and then you've got Isaac Hayes, Veronica, and of course, his son. And there's so many different people. You've got Smokey's daughter, Tamla.
Yeah.
We've we've just got so many children relatives of legacy. I'm getting ready to go judge a Miss Black America contest with Kathleen Bradley on a cruise ship because the Miss Black America pageant doesn't have sponsorship. They're sponsoring themselves.
Wow.
We need to lift up and help preserve and get sponsorship for these legacies. Yeah,
that would really be. That's just us. We got to come together.
And I say that really quickly because I was on the ship doing it before, and I had on a long evening gown, and I'm running to the ship because I'm late as always. But this little girl is running, and I get stuck, and she's pulling on her mom, and she's pointing, and she said, "Wow, you look so beautiful." And I said, "Thank you." Everybody knows I'm a sucker for kids. And I said, "Thank you, sweet." She goes, where are you going?" And I said, "I'm going to judge the Miss Black America contest." And she looked at her mom, she's a little pretty brown girl. And she looked, she said, "Mama, she says, I could be Miss Black America." Our kids don't know that they absolutely could. And what I love about this, and I know I skipped, no pun intended, but we don't know that we are out there, and they don't put all the stipulations on you that the regular pageants, you don't have to weigh 2 pounds, you don't have to, they have Muslim girls and they're takini, I think it's a takini, what is it called? There's different phases of beauty, and if we don't celebrate it, and if our kids don't, they'll have all these hang-ups about what they don't look like or what they don't fit into. And I love the fact that they're still saving that bit of what we need in our culture.
Yes, and I think also to expand on that, we as people of color have been brainwashed.
Yes.
As to what is really beautiful. And I remember us going to Africa with Cool in the Gang, and we had to stay there for about 2 weeks. We were always playing all over the world, and the girls and people would just come to you, just flock to you. We got to Africa the first time, to West Africa, outside of Ghana. And
speaking of which, my dad lived in Ghana. I have this GMA, he had me in Ghana.
Ghana is, I'm married into a Ghanaian family. My wife is from Ghana.
Oh my goodness.
My father-in-law, God bless his soul, named me Ebo Kabadan, which in Fanti is the first boy born on a Tuesday.
Wow.
And that's how my lineage was. But anyway, once we got there the first time, we were out, I think, in Lagos, Nigeria, which was very close to Accra, Ghana. We were doing this concert, and they had these girls called the Cube Girls. The Cube Girls worked for an ice company that brought the big blocks of ice, because most people didn't have refrigeration in their house.
Right.
If you had these big blocks of ice, you put it in your refrigerator or freezer. They worked for that. So they were going to be our translators. So when we go shopping, we wouldn't get taken advantage of, because every African over there knew that we were not from Africa. So they were trying to get, you're American black, we go get that money. So they would translate stuff for us. And so the girls were on a whole different kind of look. When we got over there, one of the road managers, he says, "Man, it's going to be a tough, rough 2 weeks over here. You see the girls over here?" I said, "Yeah, man, that's kind of straight. They all had the short hair, and this and that. They're all blue, black, they have this and that, so the big lips and that." It wasn't what we knew as being attractive.
Wow.
Because we had been brainwashed. So we had been there for, a couple weeks. That same guy came to me a couple weeks later after we had been there. He says, "Man, you seen Mufasa?" In a couple weeks, we started understanding, oh, there is beauty in this. We've been brainwashed.
And now they're brainwashed, because when you go over there now, everybody's got wigs.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and I'm not saying it's brainwashing, because it's fashion.
It's a crown.
And but the thing is, we have, and I, unfortunately, I've had to learn the hard way, because my little beautiful princess, I always grew up, the wash and wear hair and all that other stuff, because I've got a lot of mixture in my family, from Cape Verdean and Indian and all this other stuff. My little beautiful little African princess did not get that hair. And I felt so bad watching her grow up with all of these sisters or grandmothers, with this wash and wear hair, that I finally saw her take the braids out, take the unit off, and wear her little afro, and she's just absolutely beautiful. I think we are coming back to an awareness. I think, and I think we have to celebrate it.
Got to celebrate it, and the pioneers that helped that to come about, like Cicely Tyson, like Pam Grier, like these were the Bernadette. I can't remember.
Stannis.
Yes. I mean, they just helped to bring that into play, along with the young lady that came to my house back in the '60s, Angela Davis.
Are you kidding me?
Came into my house with my
Skip.
father, and then they were working.
Hold on, Angela Davis came to your house?
Yes. She stayed with us for 2 days because they were trying to find her.
Okay, this man is talking about legends.
That's just because I'm old. You know.
It's not because you're old. There's a whole lot of old people that didn't have Angela Davis in the house.
I had Black Panthers in my house with leather jackets on. Wait a minute. This is the truth for y'all. We went somewhere else. This is why this show is so important. So I'm sitting there in my house, and I had been trained with my father, who was an activist, right on, Black Power. He was an English teacher doing Black studies and African studies and all of this stuff, Black history, and all that stuff. And my mom and him divorced. He ended up marrying a white woman, and I was confused because now I have two red freckle-headed brothers. They're my stepbrothers, and I didn't know whether to beat them up or embrace them. I didn't know what the hell to do. I was like, I'm so confused. What the hell? I didn't know what to do with it. I'm like, what? But what I wasn't taught was what love is. What the definition of that it's colorblind.
It is colorblind, and we don't learn that until we're taught.
Or experience it. Yourself. And right now,
try being. Let me tell you something. I had a hard time growing up, especially in my family and being in a Black. And by the way, after a while, Black became the no word, and then we became African Americans. Let's talk about that too, because Dick Griffey coined that phrase.
Really?
During his stint with the Jesse Jackson 1984 presidential campaign, he was one of the financiers.
Wow.
And of course, very close, but we'll come back to that. But I was stuck in the middle. I'm sitting here in this Black legacy, and here I am, this little girl that couldn't be Black enough. I had to. If I showed you all the scars on my knees and the teeth in my knuckles, the fights that I had to get into to prove my Blackness, it was terrible. It was terrible.
We all had to fight in that type of way. You know how I fought in those kind of ways? I was from junior high school all the way to high school. I was a wrestler.
You told me about wrestling.
So that meant, in that civil rights time, all those things were going on. They were calling me nigger. They were calling me this. They were calling me that. All of those different things, and they were jealous because I had a gift that set me above the others. And he's so special because he's thin. So the way I battled that was I went to the wrestling matches and whooped their ass.
That's what I'm talking about.
I was like, and the poor guy, he's like, stop!
That's right.
Oh my goodness.
That's right. I wish I had a thought about that. I used to just get in trouble. Man, listen, I'm so glad I've evolved. I've gotten into all kind of barroom brawls and
You know what?
My father used to have me followed. Suge Knight was our bodyguard.
No, I didn't. What?
Yeah. Yes. And Big West. I don't know if you remember.
I remember Big West.
Big West used to drive me to school in a limo and I used to beg him to drop me off
before you got to the school.
So I could walk.
Like normal people.
He was like, nah, nigga. I'm taking you to school. I was like, oh my gosh. And I used to get picked on. I was like, you can't stand in my classroom. But, my father used to have me followed. And, you have no idea. It's to the point where one day, and like I say, I'm so all over the place. One day, my dad had a birthday party, and my sister Regina and he wanted us to help set it up with Paradise 24. Remember the club, Paradise 24? With Greg Lights and
not Studio 20. No, Studio 54.
No,
Paradise.
Paradise was in Hollywood.
Right.
With Philippe Darrell and all the the big Hollywood guys. Man, I did what I had to do, and I went to a phone booth, made my arrangements, flew to New York because this is at the time when Albie Shore and Christopher Williams. We were flying to go see them because they were our friends, and they were hot at the time, and we could do that. But I thought I was sneaking out with my dad. I got out. We flew there, landed. Whole nother story. By the time we got to the hotel, 2 hours late, because we got scammed by some You know how the guys that wait for you, they wait for somebody that looks unsuspecting.
Right.
Picked us up and tried to, anyway. Got there 2 hours late, sitting on the fountain, looking at their watch. Negro, what took you so long? Bill Underwood is, do you know who Bill Underwood is? Okay, I want you guys to look up Bill Underwood. Anyway, he was one of the gentlemen that was pardoned by Trump out of his last presidency. But strong brother. But he was known for putting in work. Beautiful man. I love him to this day. I love that's Bill, my guy. But I was like, I couldn't go nowhere. But I used to still get in these fights. But I always felt like I had to fight because.
Well, that's kind of how we had to earn our stripes and earn our respect in certain things. And I want to give the people out there the C words that I learned. The C words that I learned for success.
Right.
Going to different places. And the biggest one, the first one, the C word is courage. You have to have the courage to go to an environment that's less familiar and less comfortable to make your way. And I did that, leaving home and leaving the comforts of home where people knew me and all of that, to go to Ohio. And I got in a fight every month. every 2 weeks I got in a fight because somebody would use the MF word, call me a motherfucker, and I'd be ready to kick their ass. And he'd like, no man, just stop, man, chill out. He just called you. And I'm like, I didn't know that it was a term of endearment in that rough area. That made you part, and you wanted to join in and blend in with what was going on. So that helped me to understand you have to acclimate yourself to the environments that you're in. And that adaptability is a key to learn how to be successful. I'm
going to piggyback on what you're saying because that was a problem for me being younger because I was a little light-skinned black girl living in San Fernando Valley, which pretty much there weren't a lot of black people living in San Fernando Valley, especially not with horses. So most of my friends were white at the time. So I found myself all of a sudden talking like this, and I was just like, wait a minute, what am I doing? And you see with your black friends, you're like, what's up? How you doing? I was like, oh my gosh, I literally was having an identity crisis. And it really messed with me, and I literally felt like I was just like being fake, you fake or this. I didn't realize that was God at the time allowing me to find myself and fine-tune myself, because the thing is, as entertainers, which I did not know that I was going to be, you don't know where you will find yourself in a boardroom. And you can go from musician to, we'll be sitting at a table with dignitaries at $1,000 a plate here, and you have to know how to adapt in all your surroundings. So that growing up hearing, you talk white, and my daughter has to do that. No, but the thing is, when I'm ready to, if I feel like I got to whoop somebody's ass, then the lingo is going to change real quick. I can't show that side because I have to be dignified. When we are, we're in public eye, when you're, subject to scrutiny and different things, as I was talking about earlier, no matter what comes at you, you still have to have class. You still have to execute things and have a strategy for the way. Absolutely. So it's not an easy role if it's something that you have to force yourself to. But those of us that grew up in it, and you've grown up in it, we're conditioned for that.
So did you grow up in the bands where we had the rehearsal in the garage?
Yes. The Whispers were in the garage. Yes. South Shore Commission was in the garage. Sun Bear was in the garage. So Soul Train Record stuff. You guys are gonna have to really look that up. But absolutely.
We had to cut our teeth on those type of things.
Oh my goodness! Let me tell you something. I got in so much trouble because I was a tomboy, and I remember there was one of the groups. I think one of the Whispers left a what do you call it? The calypso drum.
Yes.
I thought it was a great place.
Steel drum.
Steel drum. I thought it was a great place to make mud pies, so I turned it upside down, and it was full of berries and dirt and rocks. And my friends were just, the next day I hear, and I'm like, oops. So that's why when Scotty said what he said, I forgot about things like that. I was very mischievous. My mother was on the road with Marvin Gaye and Lenny Williams and doing the Circle Star.
Lenny, wait a minute, Lenny, Because I'm from the Bay Area.
Oh, so well, actually, my other side of my family's from the Bay Area.
I'm from the Bay Area. I'm actually from Sacramento.
Wow. I lived in Richmond.
Yeah, that was a rough part. That's where my little half brother, what I call him, is. He's out of Berkeley. And they went to Richmond.
I did not know you were from the Bay.
Bay Area guy. And I was in a band. It was called East Wind Band. It was full of Asian guys, and there was 3 or 4 of us black guys in there. Everybody had an afro. Even the Asian guys had their hair permed so we could have afros. And that was my first professional band. I was 15 years old. I remember going through playing in the garages. Oh, the second C word. I started off with one, which was courage. The second one was collaboration. You have to have the vision to collaborate with somebody else that has gifts that you don't have, because there's power in numbers.
But that's just relationship, though.
Yes, relationships and all of that. What we're going to do, I'm going to take a quick pause for the cause. I'm going to come back out after this in a few more minutes. You guys remember my phrase, don't play no games. We'll be back at you very soon.
Skip Martin's Friends and Legends podcast, sponsored by Electric Shop Recording Studio, the best recording studio in Las Vegas, award-winning engineers, top-of-the-line equipment, and specialized service.
Hey, friends and family, we are back now with the beautiful loveliness, Carolyn Griffey. And we're going to continue on with a little bit of this Friends and Legends show. So I want you now, we've gone through a lot of different things here.
Yeah.
At this point in time, I just wanted to talk about how you feel about music today. Do you still have a passion about creating music? Do you still love it like you used to? Or have you evolved to?
You know what? To be honest, and I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but I don't know how to not be honest. That's just who I am. I don't think I ever really got into, I've never really written. I've written so much, but I kept it. I have a couple of songs that Chucky Booker and I have started.
Yes.
And we've never finished. Chucky. But I don't really think I took my craft as serious, because I honestly believe that I had too many advantages growing up. I look at everybody in the industry. I see how serious people are. I don't think I took myself seriously enough. And I think I've written some really nice songs. Matter of fact, one of my first studio setups was one Chucky built for me in my place at one time. He'd give me some boards, and I had a little drum machine, and I do music on my own. But I lost it all. That's, before you had all those drives and everything else.
Chucky wrote a song for me.
No.
He wrote a song for me, and it was my first song, one of my first songs singing for Cool in the Gang. It was called Raindrops.
Hold on.
Feel the raindrops falling in the sky. That was Chucky Booker's song.
I was going to say that was his song.
Yeah, and I was the guy singing for Cool in the Gang.
Cebu.
So it's really a small world.
So, I've written, the songs I've written, I'm still sitting on. Because it's finding the right collaboration. And now I'm so old at this point, I don't get embarrassed. It's like, I think I'm just ready. I just think because I've been traveling so much, because I've had this legacy, kind of standing on the shoulders of it and trying to get our story told.
That's the word, legacy. Where you are now today. Why do you do music?
I do music because once I realized that Solar Records was not being celebrated the way that I felt that it should be after my father's passing, I know what it took for him to build it. I know what grounds that he broke. I know all that he sacrificed. And God won't let me sleep until I make sure that this legacy and the stories are told correctly, that the music is preserved, that the music, and that, and that our writers and our producers can be compensated. There's a lot that to unpack with that. When you make deals with people and they're not on the up and up, whichever side it is, they're always going to make it beneficial for them, not for you as the artist. As we know, as we talked about earlier, there's so many people fighting for their catalogs, fighting for their publishing, fighting for, um, music cares is having to do way too much for our musicians because our musicians are not able to provide after a life of writing hit songs that the world celebrates. So for me, I do love music. I love music. I love, and I love new music. But I love the nostalgia because I understand and I respect where it came from. And I didn't as a young girl. While my dad was alive, while Solar was running, and while that whole thing took place, I didn't take it seriously. Now I'm up on stage with Shalamar, and it's different for me because before it was something I really didn't want to do. I just kind of felt like I got thrown into it. And then I turned around and I started, sometimes I'm on stage and I literally feel like my dad he put me in the group, but he never saw me perform. That it's my purpose. I feel it is my purpose. Teddy Riley's told me that if we don't preserve our music, if we don't tell our own stories, then they will.
Well, I want you to pass that word on because I always wanted to meet Teddy, and I just haven't met the right people to introduce him to. And he's here somewhere.
This is his birthday today.
Okay.
Happy birthday, Ted.
Happy birthday, Teddy.
So
one day maybe I'll get a chance to.
Oh, no, absolutely. We'll call him up.
My reason for playing music.
Because you're super talented. This man is a gifted genius.
But I wasn't thinking of it in that way. I was 7 years old and I heard Nat King Cole had just passed away. And they were playing a tribute to him on the radio. I'm riding in a Dodge Rambler with my grandmother and grandfather going somewhere. And I heard, unforgettable, that's what you are. I said, ooh-wee. It sounds like this guy's in the car with us. And he just passed away. And I said to my grandmother, I said, Nana, that's what I'm going to do. She turned around and said, what, baby? I said, I'm going to play music so when I die, people will feel like I'm still in the car with them. That's where
oh my gosh.
That's why I do it.
I literally just feel like I have just, sitting here with the legend, gotten a story that a lot of people haven't heard. That is beautiful. That's
where it came from. And so I now am sitting on, I have now recorded 65 albums in my 68 years. And people have only heard 1%. Matter of fact, last year I did a campaign called 52 Fridays. There are 52 weeks in a year. I put out a new single every Friday for a whole year. That's just a piece of my 600 and something songs registered to Sound Exchange. So I didn't do it to get rich or get money or this or that. I just wanted to, and I still do, just leave a trail in the sand of humanity that I was here.
Now, what you just said is exactly the reason why I fight so hard for the legacy. That trail in the sand that you're talking about is somebody else's inspiration to do what somebody else told them they couldn't do. And that's what it is. My father was not a rich man. He grew up in the projects in Nashville, Tennessee. And it was the dream of his to do it. And nobody gave him anything. He did it from the ground up. I know there were people with him, and I will never, ever say that it wasn't built with a team, but the vision. It has to be a vision for it to become a reality.
Exactly. You have that purpose. And now I'm finding like you are, I'm finding my purpose beyond the singing what I do on stage. I get more full and more enjoyment with using my wisdom to uplift the next generations than I had doing music for the world. It just touches my heart. I got enough knowledge and wisdom now to turn it on to them. And when the light goes on for them, I'm like, oh, that was it. That's my purpose now. So lifting you, lifting other people, telling them stories, that's what I'm about. I don't care, about all that other stuff. I've already got my roses. I already got Grammy. I already got Emmys. I've already been honored. I've got my roses. I don't give a shit about that. I just want to keep passing on the passion that I have for it to others. And if I can use that passion to move things up forward, that's I can go to God and He'll say, job well done. And I'm done.
Okay, so you just made me emotional.
That's where I'm at.
I have always taken for granted the seat that I sit in because it's always been there. Mm-hmm. And right now, sitting in the studio with you, sitting across from you, really just made me realize how blessed I am to be able to sit in the presence of, and you don't look at, and I don't mean to say this in the wrong way, to look at your friends as greatness, but our friends are greatness and historical and eternal. The music that you've created will live on throughout history.
Throughout our lives.
Not our lives,
the
generations. Solar. I mean, I don't look at it like that. Because when you're working, you're just working. When you're fighting, you're just fighting. But how often do you get to really sit? Like when you asked me to do this podcast, I don't look at myself as a legend because I really haven't accomplished the things that I'd like to do yet. But when I look at me being one of the only voices of our legacy, I made that choice. And people will tell you when my dad was here, sometimes I just wanted to separate myself because I didn't want to be looked at as Dick's daughter or I got a deal because he was my... I wanted to do things on my own merits. You know how kids are, but my father used to be like, why are you fighting when I'm building this for you guys? And I know, and I think about that now with my children. It's like,
I have a daughter to be the same way. She's gifted like me on steroids. She has more gifts at this age where she's at than I ever had.
Jeez.
But because of my lineage where I come from, she want to do it without my help. Because she'll feel like it'll negate her greatness if I help her. And I'm like, look, you want to do a song? I'm working with the top guys in the industry, Tom Schumann from Spyro Gyro. We make songs for you, this and that, so forth. No, Daddy, I want to do it my own.
That's something else. As I was talking about having a board of, a legacy board. It's, really for the preservation of our history. Because, and what I mean about legacy board is, you've got your children. It's like literally, it's a passed down situation. As because they have to be the ones to tell our stories. I'm telling my father's stories. My children will be doing the same thing. That's even like I sit with Howard and Jeffrey, and I talk to them about, I have to be honest. It gets emotional. I think the hardest loss for all of us is, and this is not a knock on anybody because, when we lose a William Shelby, when we lose our greats, but Uncle Walt's passing is still jarring. But it makes you think about your own mortality. And it makes you think about your, I hate to say it, your business plan. Shalamar's been in a lot of, turmoil, and people have seen this article, this person, and you've got, and I'm not gonna mask my words. Jody has her own take of what she feels the group does, and every time somebody says her name, she freaks out, and I've said nothing. However, Shalamar is a brand. Shalamar is not people. Temptations are a brand. As you see, Daz, brand. They're brands. The people may leave here, but the music never dies. What's going to happen when nobody's here to do that music? Do you want somebody to come along and do a bad version, or do you want to appoint somebody to do that.
They're gonna do what they do.
They're gonna do
They
it.
do what they do. I
Anyway.
got rappers doing I'm gonna tell you about them, and they go a whole other way. But I'm like, okay. And they got my vote. He to have big fun. I'm like, I'm learning from them. So let's keep learning from them.
But what I was saying to Howard and Jeffrey has talented children.
Mm-hmm.
Howard's got extremely talented children.
Mm-hmm.
My children are music. So do we build this? I mean, do we make a decision to say, okay, I'm stepping down? Why would it not be like that? Why is it that when this goes, that it has to be done? Because somebody comes along and changes the landscape anyway.
Yeah.
So what is your take on that?
My take on it is just let it be. Do what you're doing and let it be, and appreciate and respect and be grateful.
Oh no. And I'm all that.
For what you have.
No. What I'm saying is the demand is still, I mean, that's even like
The world still needs it. The world still needs it.
It's like you're stuck. You're stuck in between. Like I saw we did a show with Cameo in England, and it was Black Men's Son.
Mm-hmm. But I don't look at it as being stuck anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Because
we know you're not, because
you
you
have to
continue to keep
evolving.
it moving.
You keep evolving and keep going to places that are uncomfortable, because that's where growth occurs.
This is uncomfortable.
That's where growth occurs, and that's what we're doing. So I've been used to being uncomfortable my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a way of life for me, and I
This-
pass
hold
that
on.
on to other generations.
This is in no way comfortable.
Yeah.
Fighting for a legacy
Mm-hmm.
is not comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
because you're going to always have people tell you, well, why is it your job? You know, and I believe in reinventing myself. That doesn't mean there's not other things that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
However,
That's why you're great, because greatness doesn't lie in a comfort zone. Greatness comes from persevering and you're a bodybuilder. You do health stuff, and you've been lifting weights for. I saw you from being this big to where you are now. Just got your magnificent body at your stage and age.
actually, this is the out of shape. This is the out of shape
great,
part.
but you still spend a lot of time doing it, and that's that old saying: no pain,
No
gain.
gain.
Okay, so that's how we get to where we're going. We endure the pain, and these new generations of people, as soon as it starts hurting, they say, well, let me go to something else easier. And the whole lesson to life is work through the pain.
Yeah.
So now that we have said these things, I love you, and I'm so glad you were here with me today. And I want you to tell people where they can reach out to you.
Okay.
And how they can catch you.
Well, you can find me on social media, of course. IG is I am Carolyn Griffey. Very simple.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, Carolyn Griffey.
Okay.
TikTok, I don't really do as much, but I think it's something like Griff Girl or Carol. I was told by Albie Shore, always tell them, make it easy for them to find you. Emails, whatever it is, you don't want to make people have to search for you. I do have a YouTube channel. Don't do much on it, but I'm getting ready to build it. So you said they build it, they will come. I definitely would love for you to follow me, because I do post things.
And I would love to be on your podcast once you get around to doing that.
Absolutely.
And we'll share in that. And right now, you guys, I'm going to let you go. I want to thank you very, very much for coming to this episode of Friends and Legends with my outstanding guest and friend, Miss Carolyn Griffey. All right? So until I see you guys the next time, you guys remember my phrase. Don't play no games. Bye.
I do want to record one thing real quick, because
Okay.
you asked me about the
Go
Shalamar,
ahead.
and
Go
I
ahead.
didn't go through.
Go ahead.
So really quickly. So
I can splice everything.
no, absolutely. Coming back around to how I got on Shalamar. Howard and Jeffrey were going around, and they were performing on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Because they had left, everybody had kind of dispersed. The demand for Shalamar came back up, and they did some shows over in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And it got to the point where they needed a female. They weren't really going with the Jeffrey Howard situation. And Howard and Jeffrey came to me. I mean, it's funny because I've always been around. And of course, and Howard and I have always been friends. She used to change his kids' diapers. So that's Howard's one of my best friends. And sang background for Howard as well. Mm-hmm. So they asked me to do one show in England. And it was a private party. And so we went and we did it. I was scared to death. Howard's like, you want to come, sing the lady parts. That's how he put it. Mm-hmm. I was like, backgrounds. He's like, the lady parts. I was like, you mean do the female part. And came over, did the show. I was horrible. They don't say that, but I felt it because I'm a perfectionist and I just really felt weird about it. But they wanted to fulfill the contract for the gig that they have. So I came back and I was so excited. I told my dad, I was like, oh, by the way, and 2 nights prior to that, I had dreams of getting up on stage and forgetting all the lyrics. I was so scared. I was so nervous. But I knew every Shalamar lyric because I was the biggest Shalamar fan. And Howard is the one who used to ask me, what is that line? So I came home, shared it with my dad. I was excited. He was like, how much did they pay you? And I told him. He was like, what? That didn't go over pretty well. Long story short, Dad called a meeting and flew Jeffrey from Africa. Was it Japan at the time or Africa? And we all met, and that's where my father said officially, I own the name. And if we're going to do this right, my daughter is going to, do this correctly. And that was all she wrote. But I really didn't want to do it. I felt kind of like a fat Indian chief's daughter that he was throwing off on John Smith and the way he was saying it. But I'm so glad that Howard and Jeffrey did come to me and offer that. And I'm so glad that my father did do that because even though I initially didn't want to do it, it was purpose. It was purpose. And to this day, those men, I love them. We travel the world together, and I wouldn't trade the experience for anything in the world. And we're still doing it. We are still doing it. So, and you guys can find Shalamar Friends, Facebook, Instagram, and do we do Twitter? No. But stay tuned. Thanks.
I love it.